The School of Fiction.
Hello, this is Mark Crane, and you're listening to the School of Fiction channel.
Mark, so glad to have you today. You are my first nonfiction author, let's say.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah,
Thank you for
absolutely.
having me.
Might as well start with the best, right? So here we go. Tell us about you, where you're from, and how did you get into the business of working with nonfiction and editing nonfiction?
Well, I'm an artist, and I'm from Pennsylvania originally. I grew up in Pennsylvania, came to New York for college, and never went home. So I'm a New Yorker now, and have been for a very long time. I'm a family man. I got 4 kids. They're all grown up now. I mean, I can use anything I can learn how to do. That's what I do. So, and I don't understand artists who aren't like that. It seems to me that that's what artistic expression is. But so I've been a writer. My father was a writer, uh, and I've been a writer my whole life. And I've written. I started with novels, and then certain projects grab me. And if a project grabs me, I go with it. If it really has a hold on me, it's like I don't have any control over it. Whatever I get interested in something, like right now, this project has been 2.5 years and I'm nearing the end of it. And already another one has taken its place and is percolating in my brain. I thought I was going to finish this project, then sit around and relax and try to think what my next step in life was. But it always turns out this way, by the time I'm getting to the end of the first project, I'm completely consumed with some other idea.
We haven't really said what your project is, so let's go ahead and have a look at that. Now, first, here's the cover. So that has a real Courier and Ives look to it. Tell us about that.
That is Courier Knives with a little Photoshop by me to make it work right.
Mhm.
I got it on the front and the back of the book, the same print. I was just enchanted with the print because I just am thrilled with the idea that there was a time when uh, 12 horse sleighs pulled city omnibuses up and down Broadway in the wintertime, and they left the snow on the ground. That for me is just crazy. Uh, so anyhow,
Yeah,
this is the New York Saturday Press.
yeah. Let me turn off the screen share so we can see. All right, start again with that. Yeah.
This is the New York Saturday Press. This was a newspaper that was produced, a literary journal that was produced during just before and just after the Civil War. It's the first Bohemian journal in American life, and it had wonderful people who wrote for it. It had a very just a fascinating development in the way it all came about.
So
And
let's explain Bohemian to the audience. It means a couple of things to me, but
okay,
what it means in the context you use, I think we should explain to everyone.
right. Well, let's start with what does it mean to you? I'm interested. What do you think of it?
Well, obviously, the literal meaning is coming from Central Europe. The specific region of Bohemia, which we would say includes the Czech Republic, the Slovak Republic, and so on these days. But I think the Bohemian lifestyle was a term used for people whose lifestyle was a little bit less conventional, a little more free in terms of their living arrangements, their mating, the way that they distributed their time, how much they worked, things like that, within a certain time period where the term might be considered old-fashioned now.
Well, I would add to that they were usually wealthy, and they didn't want to do any work. They didn't feel that society that the way we lived our lives was very meaningful. It would be much more meaningful if we just spent all our time focusing on art and culture and our social contacts and that kind of thing. Focusing on emotions was there was actually a movement of the time where they believed that emotions were more important than rationality in the way that we lived our lives. But anyhow, 1840s and 50s in France, there arose a movement called the Bohemian movement. That was called Bohemian just because they were outsiders, kind of. They were seen as outsiders, and they became very popular. The lifestyle of the Bohemians became very popular for the reasons I just mentioned about their focus on art and culture and ideas and change and development. And so the editor of this newspaper, Henry Clapp, he was a former ship's captain. This guy was from Nantucket, and he went to France. He went to Paris, and he got involved with the Bohemian movement there. Got involved. He witnessed it and enjoyed it and thought it was great. And he came back to New York and started this journal, which was, yeah, there he is, which was based on Bohemianism. And it was a really brilliant idea because it caught on and people really liked the idea of Bohemians in New York City, Bohemians in America. It was the journal quickly became known for it, and they were all seen. Now that there you have is a picture of the Bohemians in their hangout. If you go today, you go to Broadway and Bleecker Street. Just north of Bleecker Street, you will find an old hotel building that was standing in the day. And when you went to that hotel, if instead of going into the hotel, you looked to the side, you would see steps going down. And if you went down the steps, there's a sign on the side that said FAFF, P-F-A-F-F. It was a restaurant. So if you went downstairs, there was a German restaurant underneath this hotel where all these Bohemians started hanging out, or these people who wanted to be Bohemians, let's say. And that started sort of this culture, in this sort of counterculture in New York City that caught on and was very popular for a short while.
Okay, so we had a look at that, and we also looked at the contents a little bit. So let's kind of give us a feel for how you selected this material. And I just want to note, and I'm going to show again from that this is a very visually exciting book because it incorporates both newspaper columns and illustrations of the time. And that was something that definitely impressed me about it. So I'm going to scroll through a little bit while you tell us about that.
Okay, so that's it. That picture, if you go back to that picture there, it's funny because this project just sort of got out of my hands. There's 3.3 million words that went into this newspaper, this journal. And I read through the entire thing and I edited the entire thing and I made all the 3.3 million words. I put them all on. They weren't available before. The only thing you could get before my book of the New York Saturday Press was to look at old 1930s photographs of pages, and they were very hard to read, impossible to read some sections of them, maybe 70% legible. And so I did this incredible 2.5 years of reading through this stuff and getting it all together and formatting it and making it possible to use in a book. And then, well,
I found a review here. I'm just scrolling through this. It mentions Our American Cousin. Unless I'm confused, that's the play that Lincoln was seeing when he was killed.
That's correct.
So so that means that we're going to find a lot of surprises as we go through here in historical context. A very nice photo of Longfellow. Wow. So this is as you showed, the book is a very very thick book with a beautiful binding, heavy book, a book that would stand the test of time, which I'm very impressed. And inside, I think to hold a physical copy of this would be really amazing.
Yeah, I was thrilled when I first got it in the mail, but I worked my butt off on it, I I'm I really love graphic design, so I had a good time putting it together too. And I fell in love with everybody who's in the project, whether I dislike them or not. I was just the whole gang became like family members to me.
What software do you use for design,
Uh,
for book design?
for graphic design would be
Yeah.
Photoshop usually.
Well, for this book, how did you design this book?
Okay, so the design of the book, I started it on that's a good question. I started it in Word, and then when I was done with it, I realized I had to put it in that one the Adobe
InDesign?
yeah, InDesign. So I realized I had to do it in InDesign. It really is a difficult thing to do because you have to make these choices along the way, and when you split your path, you're sort of stuck on this path, and you put a lot of work into it, and sometimes you have to just give up and start over. And it's kind of like what I did when I went to InDesign. After I did the whole thing on Word, then I went to InDesign and sort of did the whole thing all over again. And then
Uh,
parts of it I had to do over again on InDesign because InDesign is sort of like uh, stacking boxes. You pull a box out from the bottom and they all fall down. So
Yeah.
it takes a lot to learn how to use InDesign. And what you learn when you really learn to use it, you learn it doesn't work that well. So, you learn there's all these problems with it and you kind of wish you never started with it. But I think if I had to do it over again, maybe I would use InDesign again, just because there aren't a lot of good choices to make.
So tell us maybe one or two highlights for you in putting this book together, and then we're going to go to our skills topic, which is building a promotional campaign with ChatGPT. So tell us a couple of things that really hit you very hard when you were putting this together that made it feel worthwhile to you.
Well, I felt like I was discovering a lot because I really was, because this stuff hasn't seen the light of day since 1866, literally. I mean, the only time it's been, even the Mark Twain short stories, some of them have never been reprinted. So there was a lot of discovering of stuff going on. And there was sort of like learning people's personalities. Like one of the key figures in this book is a writer, uh, Edward Wilkins, and he was from Boston, and he wrote the theater reviews for the Saturday Press, and he was such a clever guy. He died young. He died when he was like in his 20s. He died, no, maybe, I'm not sure, but he died very young. Um, he was, they said he huffed ether, I think. He had some bad habits like that. But his jokes reminded me of Warner Brothers cartoons when they would have like they'd have like they always used to have like something going on the stage, and then they would have maybe a theater critic walking around on the stage, and he would say these funny things, and it was the same kind of humor that this guy invented, really, that brought into it. So what they did evidently is they continued his style of writing, his style of humorously commenting on the theater productions and such, and even continued the gags that he invented all the way into the 20th century. It was really incredible. But I just was enchanted by these writers and all the different things that they came up with.
We agreed we were going to talk about how you used ChatGPT to design the advertising promotional campaign. I think as viewers of my channel will know, I'm just about to launch a 5-author forum, which we talked about AI and fiction writing. And we talked about its use in other ways also. AI, in this case specifically an LLM, what number of ChatGPT did you use?
Whatever was the latest at the time.
Oh, maybe 4 or 5. I think 5 is the current one.
Yeah, so
All right,
it was
and
four for most of it. I was using four, I think.
okay, so then give us an overview, and we're going to talk about the pros and cons.
GT was sort of my agent, so I just wrote to ChatGPT one day when I got to that point. I'm about to publish this book. What should I do? And to my surprise, ChatGPT came back with this, and this is the first time I really used it in this kind of a way. So I was shocked to see the detail that it came back with. It essentially told me step by step everything to do between, I don't know, maybe it was March when I first used it. It was early this year. And then all the way through to October when the book is released. Book is on pre-release now, and on October 14th, it's actually released. So I followed most of what it told me to do. There were some things I thought weren't good, and I didn't do them, and I left them behind. Then other things I did a little bit more if I thought they would be helpful. Like it suggested that I should make a bunch of videos. And I ended up making more videos than it told me to do, just because I found they were kind of easy to make once you got used to it. So I made a pile of videos under its, but the best thing ChatGPT was it told me sort of technical things that I had to get over with. Like it would tell me that I had to send 2 copies to the, or it actually told me to get the book registered with the Library of Congress.
And we can find these videos here at some of them anyway at Books in a Row on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Right. So you have where
I don't
else
think
are
I've ever even looked at that page. I have it in all of them. I put it on TikTok. I put it on Facebook.
you said so it's
YouTube.
always books in a row, or do we have links through here? This is your website.
Yeah, that's my website. It
Okay.
doesn't have links to the video. It has links to a book talk I did. I did a book talk video.
Here we go. Watch my book talk.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is we'll figure that out later. So this is then this one of the things that was recommended by ChatGPT for you to do.
Yeah.
Okay. And what else? What else happened there?
Okay, so it had me do videos. It told me like how I was, like it gave me a calendar to keep track of things. It would tell me well, by this date you should have this done.
So Mark, you mentioned that the ChatGPT put you into making book talk videos.
Yes.
Then there is something else you wanted to recommend to the viewers.
Yeah, well, the thing about ChatGPT is it seems to somehow magically know all the details to all these programs that you have to use. When you're going to format a book, you need to use all these different programs, right? You need to use Acrobat, you need to use InDesign, you need to use Photoshop. There's all these different programs that you have to use. There's Amazon has a program that you use to format the digital book. And the crazy thing about ChatGPT is I can just write in there, hey, I did this and I did this and it didn't work out right. And ChatGPT will come back and say, oh, that's okay. That happened because this, that, and the other thing. And as a result, you need to do this. and it was always right.
That amazes me actually because I think it's I've had ChatGPT and other LLMs be ridiculously wrong, but they do seem to have better aptitude for some things than others. It could be that, like with software, it's more likely to be accurate, maybe because it was easier to train it on the software.
Or maybe it's because you're asking it as an authority. So instead of just answering your question, it puts itself in, it loads up, knowledge from that authority, and then it gives it to you in a different way than it would if you just asked it maybe a casually.
Was it
The fact that it's working on
triggering information that it was trained on? Yeah, because
yeah.
just to clarify this for the viewers, a large language model like ChatGPT has a cutoff date. It has information up to a certain point, and then you can even ask what is your cutoff date, and doesn't know anything. So if I ask ChatGPT about things that happened this year, it doesn't know. At least not the version I'm using.
Uh-huh.
That's the cutoff date. So
Oh, I see.
yeah. So that, and what happens is when it doesn't know, it may sometimes make it up in order to keep the conversation going.
Yeah.
In order
No,
to,
I
it's not trained to
understand.
think, it's trained to come up with the best possible response to
Right,
be helpful.
right.
What's amazing here, what you're describing is that it did a good job of interpreting the software challenges, which means it was trained effectively on that. And for some of us working in creative fields, the responses are not as effective for what we are asking. But it is, I say, it is a good tip. You're saying that ChatGPT was never incorrect in giving you advice to solve your problems using the design programs you were working with.
Yeah, it was amazing how much it could handle, and I had no idea that it could handle it. Like I just had a problem this morning. I just pulled up something while you were talking. I just asked it this morning because I posted my reel on YouTube, and I have posted maybe 10 reels on YouTube. And each reel came out with like 800 to 1,000 hits right away. It went straight up to 800 or 1,000, and then it stopped. So YouTube promoted it for a certain length of time automatically, and they shoot up to 800 or 1,000. So that's about how popular mine are, whatever that means. Who knows? So anyhow, I posted one Friday, and it didn't get any hits. And it didn't get any, it wasn't, YouTube didn't show it to anybody. It was 0, 0 this morning when I looked it up. So I put into Google, I said, hey, what's going on? This is the problem. I explained it. And Google said, well, yeah, not enough people clicked on your stuff probably. It wasn't popular enough. So YouTube probably just didn't promote this video.
And that was probably Google's AI summary also.
Okay. So anyhow, I said, I, I didn't like that answer. So I cut and pasted the question and I put it in ChatGPT. ChatGPT said, oh no, maybe there's a glitch. Maybe you ought to resubmit it, delete it and resubmit it, which I did. And right now I have like 800 hits. It immediately started going up again.
Let's experiment. I'm going to pull up the version that I use, which is Poe.com Assistant, which is Chat 3.5. Okay. Usually my YouTube shorts get 800 to 1,000. Today, I posted one and it got 0 hits. What could have happened? Okay.
There you go.
Posting timing, competition, algorithm changes, content quality, technical issues, which is the one that was the solution for you, right?
Yeah.
Promotion, audience engagement, thumbnail, and title. Okay, so a lot of these are just general marketing advice that you could get most anywhere. But apparently, in your case, the way you worded it, it went directly to technical issues.
Well, the one I did in the morning with Google didn't, Google has AI, an automatic AI on their questions. But they didn't get it. And ChatGPT did get much closer, and it gave me the technical issues and explained them a little bit better than what you got there, I think.
Well, Mark, I want to wish you a great deal of luck with your book. It looks gorgeous, and I'm just going to show one more time how people can pre-order it. So here we are, the New York Saturday Press Omnibus Edition.
Get that cheaper on eBay. I have my own eBay site, so if you go on eBay, you'll get an even better deal on it. Saturday Press Omnibus, that'll do it. And that one's signed too. If you get that one, it's signed.
Anyway, Mark, I want to thank you very much for this time.
Thanks for having me.
Recommending your book, and I'll pause it here, and we'll talk a little bit before disconnecting.
Cool.
Thanks.
The School of Fiction.